So I really have no idea how I'm supposed to review a chapter like this. It's just a collection of short stories with not much to really go over, and they're over in a flash. But I'm gonna try my best. And before we get to that, a quick update. We hit a few delay snags with the Chapter 1 dub of the 100 Girlfriends manga, but we should hopefully get past them soon. But in the meantime, since this is a shorter chapter with not much to review, this feels like a good time to drop a sneak peek. So enjoy this quick look.
I know how absurd of a request this is, but...
Yeah, then I'll be able to go out with both of them without being exposed. And save them both from death!
How stupid can I be?
They both confess their feelings with such passion, and I should know this better than anyone. How much courage it takes to tell someone how you feel.
Even if it's for the sake of saving their lives, there are just some things that a guy can't bring himself to do! I've really tried, but I just can't make up my mind! I love both of you so much! I can't just choose one of you! I may be two-timing, but that doesn't mean I'll let you guys suffer. I'll try my best to make both of you the happiest girls in the world! So I'm begging you two, please, go out with me!
What do you take me for? Trying to sweet-talk me here? There is no way I'll go through with this two-timing stuff. Huh?
Pink?
Four-leafed
clovers?
clovers?
You have two of them? Both of us together couldn't even find one!
How did you get them?
If you enjoyed that sneak peek, hit that like button and subscribe so you can be notified when it releases. And I hope you're looking forward to the full release. Now, on to the review. I'm Moonlight150 from A Slice of Gaming, and this is my quickie review for the latest 100 Girlfriends manga chapter 175, Rentora's Family Daily Life Part 5. Be sure to support the official release as well as the fan scanlations team that is getting these out for us to enjoy. Now here is where I would normally say I won't be going over everything in the chapter because I encourage you to go read the whole thing for yourself, but in these kind of situations with this kind of chapter, I think I'll be going over it all, since it's just a bunch of mini stories. Maybe I'll rank them at the end or something. The YouTube algorithm tells me you viewers love ranking videos. Immediately the first thing I noticed in this chapter compared to other daily life chapters is that this one takes place entirely on the school rooftop and pretty much at the same time. Whereas previous chapters had stories of different characters out and about and doing other things other than being in school. So, in a way, it's kind of a step down for me in that regard as I much prefer these characters to do other things. But let's see how the stories shape up. The first story, called What Separates Sewing from Knitting, has Iku and Meimei talking about the latter's knitting hobby and how Iku should take it up. But apparently she would rather take up sewing than knitting because, well, sewing hurts more because you can jab yourself with the needles more in sewing. Which, because this is Iku, she'd rather much more have the painful hobby. But I do love the absurdism of these two talking about masochism so nonchalantly while looking out onto the horizon. Next up, I gotta ask, how much Yuri needs to appear in this manga before it gets reclassified on manga decks? Because at this point, we gotta be pushing the envelope. Finky Kissy has Momiji and Ako feeling up each other's faces because both like cute and squishy things, leading to Momiji blushing harder than she probably has ever had with Rentaro. She really needs some kind of solo chapter, soon.
This better not awaken anything in me.
Staying on the Yuri train, didn't think I'd ever be saying that sentence. Immediately following that, we got Momoha and Karane talking about Karane's jealousy of boobs yet again, with Momoha asking if she wants a feel, then holding her hostage saying that she can help them make them bigger by rubbing them. I don't know if that has any scientific backing behind it, or does it? Maybe Hikari can give us some clarification. What on earth is going on in your head there, woman? I don't even know if I can show that on YouTube. Next up, we got Ira tumbling around again with Hahari catching her in the story Now It's Mommy's Turn, to where Ira disappoints Hahari by not regressing into baby mode, like a certain Lady Knight that we know and love. In Cats and Humans and Cat Food, we have a look into Tama's ideology regarding if humans should be allowed to eat cat food or not, to which she says because she was born of man, it would not be right, which makes Tama question if Karumi has, and she refuses to answer. In The Knight and the Princess, due to Ira's tumbling, Mei stumbles and Kishka catches her, putting them in the classic knight and princess position, to which others enjoy seeing, and Hahari butts in saying that the reverse is good too, which makes Mei hold Kishka and, of course, makes her go into baby mode. We haven't checked in on Hikari in a minute. Wonder what she's up to. God damn it. In burning excitement, Matsuri asks what Hikari is thinking about with this big grin on her face, to which Hikari happily shares, saying it's a carnival. And I just want to say, this is the face of a woman who saw your cropped hentai image that you posted and is about to name drop the source in the chat. And after hearing what goes on in Hikari's head, Matsuri runs off terrified, as I'm sure most of us would. In the talent for violence, we have Nano getting shocked by the door to the roof by some static electricity, to which Nano realized because she didn't react, she didn't stimulate Rin's love of violence, and she intends to quickly correct that by making the static shock worse. To where Rin chimes in and says she admires Nano's cold expression, such as when she paddles Iku, and Nano blushes from the admiration. Or at least blushes as much as she possibly could. I love the subtitle of Happy just sitting there at the bottom of this picture, just to make sure it wasn't clear. Between this and the previous chapter, it's becoming more apparent that Nano is one of the members of the family that really takes the happiness of everyone in the family seriously, and goes to any length to help achieve that, even more so than others. Probably some of the biggest character growth in the series since her debut. In It's Cowgirl, by the way, Natty puts her cowgirl hat on Tamai, confirming her suspicion that due to the size of her forehead, it would look good on her. And you know what? Ms. Natty is correct. The hat does look good on her. She normally rejects it by saying that she is a maid and not a cowgirl, but when May agrees that she does look good, she happily wanders off with it. Though, to be honest, she looks less like a cowgirl and more like a pirate in that hat. Kasuri decides to make Senta Uto by getting in the trenches of Uto's jacket. To which, yeah, Uto is fine with this. Moving on, nothing to see here. Just our average everyday middle schooler Senta Uto. In The Request of the Songstress, we have Himika performing once again with Shizuka praising her talents. Yet, as always, she is tired of being a normal everyday songstress. Wanting to make Himika happy, Shizuka begins calling her the freak she wants to be called. Which, to no surprise, Himika is into. Though Shizuka telling someone to lick her shoes is definitely gonna keep me up at night. Great, now we gotta add Degradation kink to the list of things going on in this manga. In her quest for all the numbers, in The Tall and the Small, we have Sue getting absolutely annihilated by Yamame's kicks as she dove for a yen coin. But hey, look at this character development. Sue accepts her apology and realizes it's her mistake for diving anyway. To which she immediately does it again, grabbing someone's 83 test score. Continuing her work from earlier chapters, Chiyo is back trying to make order of Momoha's disarray in The One Who Neatens, only to then question why is she like this. Mimimi and Matsuri come to support her and tell her that she's perfectly fine the way she is, and that Mimimi even wishes to learn from her example, to which Chiyo doesn't want that as it messes up Mimimi's face. Lastly, in Little Granny and Kids These Days, we're back to Sheena talking Yaku's ear off, but showing a bit of character development from the previous chapter, as Sheena is trying her best to realize when she might be going overboard. But being the doting grandmother that Yaku is, she is happy to listen anyway. To which we see Kasumi being grandma cucked yet again for like the 5th time in this series. Overall, a decent daily life chapter. Though as I said at the beginning, a different approach as they all take place on the school rooftop, and most of them all happening around the same time. At least the few stories that we see Ira tumbling in as they kind of all connect them. I think I prefer the other kind of stories where we see the characters out and about in the world, like at shopping malls or whatever, instead of just spending more time on the school rooftop, as it gives more variety to what we see in the manga. But the story themselves aren't bad. If I had to pick a favorite from this bunch, it's probably Hikari and her horniness ruining Matsuri's day, or seeing Mai in that hat because it actually does look good on her. But that is another chapter in the books. Rentaro and Kurumi, you survived chapter 175. What are you going to do now? And with that, I'm heading back to editing the chapter 1 dub. I'll see you all on the next chapter review.